Some customers, they have been asking me the same questions lately. Should I file my taxes as an individual or should I set up a company? And my answer might be a little different from what you'd expect. Starting a company isn't just for people who are doing business. More often, it's a tool for people whose income isn't very predictable. It's not about how much you make. It's about this. Has your income reached a point which it actually needs adjustment? I want to share a true story. Last year, a friend of mine, he runs a small shop. His income isn't high and it's not consistent. When he was choosing his health insurance, he had to estimate his annual income. So he put down a number based on what things looked like at that time. Then tax season came. He had to file Form 1095-A, which requires health insurance subsidies. Once everything was matched up, the system calculated he owned over $8,000. His first action was, "That can't be right. I don't feel like I made that much money." So he came to talk to me. I introduced him to an accountant I've worked with for many years. My accountant took his income and reorganized it through an LLC he never used that he had been set up years earlier. After everything was properly categorized, that $8,000 bill almost disappeared. Now some people might say, but I have 1099 income. Can't I deduct expense as well? And that's not wrong. But here's the reality. If you earn 1099 income, once the money hits your account, basically treat it as your personal income. Yes, you can deduct expenses, but most people end up feeling stuck. Deduct too much and it feels risky. Deduct too little and it feels unfair. And over time, a lot of 1099 earners realize it's not that adjustments are impossible. It's that the room to adjust is actually very limited. So what changes when you have a company? Here's the easy way to put it. Company income is not the same as personal income. In other words, revenue is not profit. A company has operating costs. That's normal. That's how it functions. Profits is what's left after revenue minus expenses. And once your income flows through a company structure, you gain more flexibility between expenses and profit. The most common structure people use is an LLC, limited liability company. Of course, there's a cost. In California, if you have an LLC, you pay a fixed annual fee called the franchise tax. It's $800 per year. And no matter how much you make or you lost, as the company exists, that $800 is due. So the real question becomes, are you willing to pay $800 a year to gain flexibility over how your income is structured? And if $800 feels completely not worth, then you should say no. There's no rush to form a company. But if $800 feels more reasonable, the flexibility a company can give to you is often worth far more than that. So back to the original question, should I start a company? I don't want to give you a yes or no answer, but this is what I usually to say. If you make more than $30,000 a year and you don't have problem to pay the $800, then starting a company often isn't a bad idea. I am Jen. I will see you next time.